My name is Paul Andrews, and I'm an account executive at Novobi. 8 years ago. Hello. My name is Paul Andrews, and I'm an account executive at Novobi. 8 years ago, we recognized the value proposition of Odoo and dedicated our business model to that ERP ecosystem. During the implementation of over 100 projects, we've had to address client concerns regarding transitioning to a new accounting system. Most companies are concerned with the possible pitfalls, not to mention the effort involved in training your staff on a new accounting system. This is why we created our risk control framework. It's basically a roadmap to navigate you through these possible pitfalls. With the guidance of a CPA, in collaboration with developer and engineers, our team has created the accounting features needed by bookkeepers and accountants alike. As a result, 78% of our projects go live within 3 to 6 months, and we've managed to retain 100% of our customers in the last couple of years. I now have the pleasure of introducing one of those CPAs, Hien Pham. Hien is a CPA certified in Odoo and has spent the last 5 years assisting U.S. companies in getting the most out of their Odoo accounting system.
Thanks, Paul, for the introduction. And hi, everyone. My name is Hien Pham. I am a CPA at Novobi team. Today, I'm going to discuss the risk management framework for Odoo Finance migration. As you know, Odoo Finance is a central processor of Odoo, a fast-growing integrated system. The integration is not limited within Odoo apps itself, but you can see there are thousands of connectors between Odoo Finance and e-commerce channels, tax management, shipping management, BI tools, vendor payment, third-party vendor payments, or employee reimbursement, and bankings. So let's say if your business is growing fast, then Odoo Finance grow fast with it. We can see thousands of US companies switching to Odoo. And if your team is one of those, we would like to walk you through some common challenges that why migrating Odoo Finance. Your migration will be at risk if you have one of these. Number one, you don't have a full buy-in from finance team and management team. Number two, you have unaddressed gaps between Odoo and what your needs. Number three, you have chosen an incorrect data migration solution. Number four, your team doesn't receive sufficient training. And number five, your team doesn't have access to an expert in Odoo accounting and payroll. Many clients came to us with unfinished Odoo Finance migration. Some can do daily activity in Odoo, but they cannot close books, close the period, or they cannot provide a reliable financial statement for management or for tax filing purpose. That's why we have developed a risk management framework with 5 elements here, and we apply these to all of our Odoo projects. We will discuss each challenge and how to mitigate its impact. All right. The first element of the framework is to secure buy-in from both the management team and finance team. The question is, what happens if you don't have the support from both teams? In many projects, we got the support from both management team and finance team. However, there are some projects that I see we get the buy-in from management team, but not from the finance team. I would say is it absolutely critical to have buy-in and active engagement from both the management team and finance team. Missing one could cause problem. The lack of support from both teams can negative impact timeline, the project quality and project cost, and more importantly, it may create a negative environment, a short of blame culture for years to come. So how to get a strong buy-in? First, and most importantly, you need to address job security concerns from your team. When automation or a new system is introduced to the workplace, job security becomes a concern for all those affected by the change. Second, the project's owner need to engage the leadership team, the finance team, and any other department affected by the project from the very beginning. For example, the product owner should help explain to the finance team, see the value of the new system, to see how their daily activity will be easier in the new system and still support the business growth. Also, make sure everyone is involved in the ideation phase and implementation process, like getting their wish list. Next, the second element in our risk management framework is to identify and close the major gaps. Many people think that all the accounting system works the same ways because accounting standard needs are the same. But that is not the case to say all the accounting system works the same. For example, features like bank reconciliation and check printing are handled differently in Odoo than in Quickbooks. Because of these assumptions, many project owners overlook the gap analysis during their migration to Odoo. When you don't do a thorough gap analysis, you may end up with an incomplete system, or the learning curve for your team may be higher, which may cause under frustrations and difficult system adoption. You may not realize the full potential and value of the new system too. So to do a thorough gap analysis, first we need to understand the differences between an integrated system like Odoo and a standalone system like Quickbooks or Sage 50 or Zero. So Odoo is an integrated system, meaning most data input into account is done during the business workflow and is entered automatically real time and automatically. Also, since transactions are associated with projects throughout the workflow, data integrity is increased, maintained. For example, in order to keep data integrity, Odoo doesn't allow you to easily delete, void a payment that is reconciled or linked with another transaction or payment, an invoice or vendor bill, but you can easily to do that in Quickbooks. Also, during the gap analysis, you should focus more on meeting your needs using Odoo and exploring its full potential features instead of trying to compare between your current system and Odoo features. Lastly, you should consider changing your processes to match Odoo features to mitigate implementation costs, maintenance costs. Because of Odoo integrated system, you will find that your new process will most likely increase efficiency. Right. So the third element in our risk management framework is to choose the right data migration approach. To me, this is very important element. We normally offer our clients 4 different data migration options, all work, but you should be aware of the differences and their use case. Now we will discuss one by one. Option number 1, remove open transactions. Means unpaid invoice, unpaid vendor bills, or any pending credit notes from your old system to Odoo. Also, of course, the trial balance at the cutoff day. This is a solution that we highly recommend our clients because all unpaid transaction pending credits are available in Odoo. So your bookkeepers will be easier updating payment status, or if they are paid after go live day. Since you have to deal with only unpaid transaction, and some of our clients say, I don't have any transaction because we don't have the credit sales, or we already paid all of the pending vendor bill. So it's make the data export import easier. That's why the implementation cost is lower. However, you still have to deal with 2 issues when you choose this option. Number 1, you have to refer back to your legacy system to view the paid transactions in the past. However, you can mitigate this the risk of this by backing up your data in Excel or somewhere, or you keep the legacy system during an overlap time. The issue number two, financial statement comparison is limited between current system and previous system. Keep in mind that we migrating historical data within trial balance, not transaction by transaction. So when you run the P&L or balance sheet and you would like to compare the current year with the previous year, then you don't have available data. But we have we normally suggest our client that we will migrate trial balance in yearly basis or quarterly or monthly basis. So it will help you to mitigate that switch. Option number two, move all transactions in the current years and trial balance. With this option, you will have all current year transactions in Odoo to update and review. The downside of this option is that you have to deal with more data, paid and unpaid transaction, manual journal entry, order adjustment into Odoo. So the effort, import-export effort data is higher than the option one. Especially, as we say, not all the account system work the same ways, especially the way that they record payments, discount, partial payments, banking differently, and the data are shown are shown differently. So the effort to get a good data and upload into Odoo is a lot, and that's why the implementation cost is higher. This option also still have the other two issue from option number one that we mentioned. You still have to refer back to your old systems to check on previous year transactions, and year-by-year comparison is limited, but we have provided a solution to help you with that. Option number three, move balances and trial balance. The balance here, it means ACE payable and ACE receivable. We don't move transaction by transaction in Odoo, but let's say your customer have about 10 unpaid invoice at a cutoff day. We don't move 10 transactions into Odoo, but just the balance in total amount that they owe you to move to Odoo. Doing this way can save time and save the effort in data export import. However, you still have the same issue in option one. You also have a new issue in this option when only historical customer vendor balance is available in Odoo. It's challenging to update status for an individual transaction. For example, you have the balance of that customer. However, you would like to record payment for just one small amount, one transaction in that. Then you have to take a note or a tag file or provide detailed note in the transaction in order to refer later or keep track on the changes later. All right. The last option in data migration is to move all historical transactions. As an accountant, I would prefer this option. Why? I will have all transactions available in Odoo for me to review historical data, to run and compare financial statements, to update status for any transactions. Sounds good, right? Looks like this option will solve most of the issue we had in the other three options. But wait, in some cases, it's not easy for a normal user to export data, but you have to enroll an expert to work on that. For example, if your legacy is Sage, SAP, so it is really challenging to get data in for all the transactions to move to Odoo. In addition, as I mentioned before, each system has a unique way of recording payments, partial payment, discount, credit, banking. A payment or partial payment in Quickbooks is recorded or is shown in the database different from in Quickbooks, in Odoo. So one of the major effort in this option is to transforming data to fit with Odoo data structure. This needs more time, effort, not from Odoo developers, but from client side as well. And as a result, the implementation cost is much higher than the other three options. So you should consider the trade-offs of having all historical data available in Odoo versus total effort of getting data of your legacy system. The fourth element of our framework is regarding training. Right? Before having training, you should answer the following questions. Number one, who will get training? Again, Odoo is integrated system. Many activities processed by sales, purchasing, and shipping teams impact account entry and related to what the bookkeeper will do in Odoo accounting. So to make sure everyone is on the same page, we should not limit the training within account department, but we should include the other team members during the training. Also, sometimes we extend the training to clients, outsource CPA, accountant, and management team, especially when we train accounting, reporting, or other budgeting, etc. Then, what should the team will be trained? First, your team should understand the nature of the integrated system. For example, if your team use Quickbooks to record invoice, vendor bill, apply payments, bank reconciliation. Now, Odoo manages all activities from purchasing, delivery, manufacturing, sales, invoicing, raising, payments, banking. So without knowing these differences between standalone system and integrated system, your bookkeepers may be confused on Odoo. Also, we recommend that training first should cover the daily business tasks or process, then seasonal or ad hoc event, for example, year-end closing, quarter closing, or any special activity events will be done by ongoing support. All right, next, when we should start the training, there are overview training and detailed training. While detailed training can be done right before end-to-end testing, the overview training should be started from the very beginning. During this training at the beginning, the team will maintain the support, cooperation from all stakeholders, all departments. Also, this overview training will have gap analysis more efficiently. Right? So how the training is delivered to help your team understand all the workflow and how Odoo track information behind the screen. The integrated system use case should be discussed and demonstrated during the training. For example, when our team train Odoo accounting features, we normally explain and provide document how Odoo records automatically real-time accounting entries from the time you place an order, receive items, return items, credit note, record vendor bill, or when you consume material components to manufacturing order. You have a great sales order, you deliver to a customer, issue invoice, payment, etc. So those are integrated use case that should be demonstrated during the training. In addition, to make sure the trainees understand the system correctly, we normally recommend them to perform some transactions in Odoo and show it to us to make sure that they are confident with all the process. The last element in our risk management framework, secure ongoing support. Our team have been receiving many questions via contact form in our website. Like we have been using Odoo for 1 year or 6 months. Now we need help to fix accounting data, payroll entries, or we need more a good accounting training to perform some special tasks like set up fixed assets, banking in Odoo correctly. Also, especially we receive like 40, 50 questions from US users, US companies just on bank reconciliation in Odoo. So those kind of questions are not easily answered by Odoo developers. So do you think technical support is enough? The answer is obviously no, especially in the US. In most of the case, Odoo user like SMEs, you don't have in-house accountant, but you have bookkeepers. So the needs of having support from team with expertise in both accounting and Odoo are obvious. So before you start migrating to Odoo, especially Odoo Finance, you should ask your partner whether or not they will provide ongoing support with experts in both Odoo and accounting, payroll. Also, if your partner is in overseas, you may consider hiring a local expert that can support you in Odoo accounting, payroll. So I have introduced you to 5 elements in our risk management framework. I hope this will help your team minimize the risk and have successful migrating to Odoo Finance. Thank you for watching, and if you have any question, I'm ready.
Hi everyone. Thank you. Welcome to the Q&A for this presentation. My name is Jose Hidalgo, and joining us is Hian Pham, Professional Service Manager and CPA at Novobi. Thank you for joining us, Hian.
Hi, Jose, and hi, everyone.
All right. So are we ready to answer a few questions? Yeah.
Yes, sure.
Okay. So we are going to go ahead and ask the first question. And so can we have reports that show us the comparison month per month?
Yes, you have an option to compare month by month or quarter by quarter or year by year in the P&L or balance sheet report or financial statement report. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much for the answer. So I'm going to ask another question about training. I know training is important. It's a big part of the implementation as well. So how long do you think, or how long the training of the end user takes in those cases? I mean, how long does it take to learn accounting in Odoo?
That's a good question. So it may depend on the requirement from clients. Based on my experience, it may go from 4 to 5 hours training before go live, and then after that we will have follow-up like on the job training. When they use Odoo and then they have questions, they can email or call us, and we can jump in the call with them and train them. Yeah, at that point.
Awesome. Okay, so moving to the third question, and this is in relation to your presentation. Have you ever used option 4 successfully?
Yes. So option 4 is we move all data from your old system to Odoo, right? In my talk, we have done migrating data like that from Sage, Quickbooks to Odoo before, and yes, it's run successfully. However, as I mentioned, it's a long journey. Between like it takes a lot of effort from both sides, from Odoo engineer and client team. So
Thank you.
but the answer is yes. Thank you.
Okay, and there's another question in relation to option 4 too. Are you thinking about some historical data Are you thinking about some historical data is useless besides almost data is useful? I don't, that doesn't make sense. Now,
Can you repeat?
yeah,
Let
it
me
says,
see.
are you thinking about some historical data is useless beside almost data is useful?
Oh, I guess what they mean is whether or not historical data is useful in Odoo. It's worth the effort to move into Odoo. I guess that's what I mean. They mean.
Okay.
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 For accountant, I would or management team, I would say yes, because you will base on historical data for analyzing, for budgeting, to support decision making, and also to support you in financial statement and tax filing if you go live during the year. So you should have historical data moved to Odoo.
Kian, thank you very much for your time. We're going to wrap up this interview. And thank you very much for your time in the presentation.
You're welcome. And I think we have extended Q&A in another section.
Oh yeah, that's
right?
right. We have an extended Q&A. We're going to post the link right below.
Sure. So yeah, if everyone have more questions, I will be waiting in another room.
All right.
For extended question.
Thank you
Thank you,
very
Jose,
much.
and thanks everyone.
Thank you. Have a
Bye
good
bye.
day.